Look, I'm not too cool to admit that I really like these things. This one is my third one, in fact. But I also know that they're just some stupid temporary craze that won't be around forever. That's the cool thing about getting older, in fact. It becomes a lot easier to spot a fad. I turned 33 in a couple of days, and here are 5 big fads that have defined my life so far. Fad number 1, slap bracelets. When I was a really small kid in the late 80s and early 90s, the coolest thing in the world was neon-colored stuff. Neon-colored clothes and neon-colored school supplies. I even remember neon-colored popcorn. But the coolest neon-colored things of all? Slap bracelets. They were just these dumb neon-colored strips of plastic, and you could grab them and slap them on your wrist, and they would immediately fold into a bracelet. Everyone loved these things, and you could get them absolutely everywhere. At birthday parties, at the dentist's birthday party. But then one day they just sort of stopped being popular. As an adult, I understand that that's probably because they reached peak market saturation and weren't able to sell anymore. But back then we were just stupid kids who didn't understand economics. So I remember there was this popular playground rumor that they were actually getting banned because the metal part inside of the bracelet was coming out and slashing kids on the wrist. Number 2, magic eye. When I was in elementary school, around 4th grade or so, there was this huge revolution in art that swept the world known as magic eye. They were these computer-generated images of scrambled nonsense, and if you held your face up close to them long enough, your brain would sort of get screwed up and a 3D image would pop out. I still don't think anyone really understands how it works. Anyway, for a while these things were everywhere. They were in all the magazines, you could buy whole books full of them. I even vividly remember my father taking the family to the magic eye store in the mall, which of course existed, to buy a big framed magic eye poster for the living room. But let me tell you my darkest secret, YouTube people. I could never get these things to work properly. I still can't. But I knew that would make me really uncool with all of my 4th grade pals, so I just lied and pretended I could. Ah, it feels good to get off my chest. So after Magic Eye came Pogs, which were the other hot fad of my elementary school years. Pogs were these dumb cardboard circles that you could play stupid flipping games with. All the kids at school had so many of these things, which they carried around in these neon plastic tubes, which they bought at the Pog store, which I assume replaced the Magic Eye store. I was lucky enough to go to a school that hadn't banned Pogs, which is always a good way to tell when a fad is really hot, is if schools are banning it. Anyway, by this time in my life, I was already becoming a big hipster snob, so I didn't want to collect Pogs because everyone else was doing it. But I did make an exception for Simpsons Pogs because I was such a big Simpsons fan. See, look, I still have my complete set of Simpsons Pogs to this day. Even the Bart Pog, which was super rare and hard to find. But it was worth it because today on eBay I see it sells for $2. Speaking of rare and hard to find, fad number 4 is these things, Beanie Babies. These were a big thing when I was in high school. My sister was really into them, and we still have a huge crate of them in the attic. They said that these were going to become super rare, super valuable collectibles, and by they, I mean all of the Beanie Baby magazines. So every time my family would cross the border into the US, we would have to stop at every toy store we could find in the hopes of getting one of the super rare, super exotic Beanie Babies that would be worth $100 million someday. Beanie Babies like this one here, the super rare Princess Diana commemorative Beanie Baby, which I remember at one time was going for as much as $500, and now goes on eBay for $2. Although I see some people are still trying to get their $500. And lastly, digital pets. And notice I said digital pet and not Tamagotchi, because Tamagotchi was merely one brand name of these blurping gizmos that took the world by storm in the late 1990s, but not the only one. They were these little egg-shaped computers with a 2-bit screen, and you could press the different buttons to simulate different pet ownership rituals. You could feed them, or beat them, or give them medicine after you fed or beat them too much. My parents wouldn't let me get one because they said it was a girl thing. I guess they were afraid it was going to turn me gay, but joke's on them. I did spend a lot of time researching virtual pets, however, and I still have my 1996 Ultimate Virtual Pets Handbook. Apparently the best one is Nano Pets, which I think I remember the kids at school having. There's even a thing at the back where you can record all the ones you've killed. So anyway, those are pretty much the fads of my life. Let me know in the comments below if you have any specific fad memories of these things or any other fads of your own lifetime. And let me leave you with the stirring poetry of Jake, the Beanie Baby duck. All of the Beanie Babies came with little poems in their stupid heart-shaped tags. Jake the Drake likes to splash in a puddle. Take him home and give him a cuddle. Quack, 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 he will say, he's so glad you're here to play.